What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hubler Auto Group Coach's Corner. This is the first time we've been here for a while, so we're happy to be back. And back with me is my co-partner, Brian Powers.
How are you doing? You act like I've been gone forever.
You've been gone for a while.
I missed one episode, I think.
I think you missed one.
No,
It was a pretty important episode.
It was.
And as a matter of fact, it hurt me so much that I missed that episode that I decided that we needed to run it back, that I needed to be here. So with us today, we have, unquestionably, the most important coach in Franklin Community High School right now. We have boys and girls swimming and diving head coach, Mr. Zach DeWitt. Zach, how are you?
I'm not too bad. You're trying to make me some serious friends around here, aren't you?
He's one of our top 4 winner coaches.
One of our top 4 winners.
Thank you. You know, that's a pretty prestigious group. Last Saturday was great, so I'll actually take that.
Yeah, last Saturday was great. This is what we would call a segue.
I was doing that intentionally.
You can tell you're a coach who's used to talking to a lot of people. So last Saturday was great. Why was it great, Coach DeWitt?
I would say more than anything, the ladies were really prepared. I've got a seasoned group of leaders, specifically Cabria and Gracie, that were willing to kind of take that baton from their senior cohorts from a year ago. And I think that when you've got a group like that that's got a little bit of senior leadership, mix in a little bit of talent, some decent preparation, normally good things happen.
Now, of course, we're talking about the 5th place finish at the state meet for the girls, and this is the 4th consecutive year that you finished in the top 5.
Yep. 4 years ago, I think we were 4th. A year after that, runner-up. Last year, 3rd, and then this year, 5th. If you're following the trend, it's actually getting worse.
Is it though? You've got 4th, you've got 2nd, you've got 3rd, you've got 5th, right?
Yep.
We're missing one thing. Next year,
you know
that's
what?
the trend.
All we have to do is maybe hope that Carmel has a complete and utter meltdown. Somehow COVID sticks around and it wipes out the whole team. That's about all we've got. All jokes aside, no, seriously, of course that's the goal for every team, and I'd be lying to say if I didn't want that. So, of course.
So with this state meet, different than a lot of others, you said in our previous episode, you weren't here for that, but in our previous episode that not having fans didn't really affect you. Did it change at all between sectionals and state, not having fans?
Well, we didn't have fans at either venue. Our venue here at Franklin is a little bit more intimate, and because of that, the crowd is a little bit louder. Everyone's a little bit closer to the pool. If you want a basketball analogy, think of like a smaller gym. Of course, the NAT up at IUPUI is huge, and so it's eerie. It felt like a little bit like a morgue or something like that. It was incredibly quiet. You could hear conversations from across the building. So that was definitely different. Luckily, it's what we had talked about. It's what we had prepared for. And I told the girls all week that we were going to make our own energy. I didn't care if everyone in the building hated me. I was going to be their personal hype man. I'm not necessarily scared about the judgment of my peers in that kind of arena. And so for us, that was really important to kind of create a moment.
Now, you talked about being a hype man and not really being concerned with that. I've seen pictures of you. I've heard people say you do get pretty hyped on the deck. Is that
Yep.
On the deck. Was it something that you felt you had to even raise it up this year, or were you just like, I'm just going to be me and that's good too?
Well, it is who I am. I think it's important in coaching, like, to be yourself. I think people can kind of see through phonies. But yeah, with that said, I took it up a couple notches there. The cool part about it all was there's not very many people on the deck, and so I had plenty of room for activities, running and jumping and hooting and hollering and whatnot. But I wanted to bring the edge or the pressure off of them and make sure that they realize, like, I certainly wasn't scared of putting myself out there for judgment, and hopefully under that circumstance they were able to feel the same way.
Yeah, it's really probably interesting when he does that in Spanish class, like just running and jumping.
Typically, yes. It doesn't end well, mostly due to the fact that there's a lot more restrictive areas of activity, especially with COVID and whatnot. But next year I'm hoping to get back to the same level of roaming.
Yeah.
On Saturday, I think we have one of the biggest days for Franklin athletics we've had in a long time. Obviously, Wrestlers sent 5 wrestlers to state. Girls won the regional, Bloomington North Lawrence. Boys got a win against Columbus East, most importantly, obviously. But, I think even though it was everywhere on Twitter and all that stuff, I think the one that surprised me the least amount was you guys finishing in the top 5th, or the top 5. Happens all the time. But, my question is, how do you avoid, complacency and the idea that we're not going to get here every time we have to work for this?
Avoid's a really strong word. I don't think we've ever really avoided it per se. I would say each and every year is kind of a unique and different challenge. To me, that's something you need to address early in the spring and early in the summer, and we did. We battled that on an everyday basis. I didn't really feel like we hit our stride until considerably later than normal. I think mostly due to COVID, but I'd say November, things were starting to look like, okay, this is a team that can compete at a high level, but I don't know if you can avoid it. It's just something you need to confront regularly. This is the standard here. We're not meeting the standard. How are we going to change things in order to meet that standard? And that's a conversation starter for every single week that you ever coach.
So looking ahead, before we move on to the boys, kind of close up the girls here, wrap up the girls, you've got a great group of seniors that you're losing. And you've got, looking ahead, kind of what do we look like for next year?
Well, it's not just your 2 headliners like Grace Fisher, Lily Lacey. Losing people like Fergie out here in the classroom, just a lot of leadership. So that's void number 1. And I'm not exactly sure who that person is. We've got a couple candidates that I think are going to be fine. In terms of a talent basis, we've got plenty enough to win on a level that we've kind of grown accustomed to. I think that the girls feel that way, but if not, that's obviously a battle we'll have to confront in the next few months. We do get Matt Gratzloff's little sister, who's an absolute stud. She's coming up from 8th grade, and so she'll probably be a surefire A finalist, as a freshman. But in terms of having talent, we've got a couple freshmen we're really happy with, and we think that they are going to contribute. And then Allie Lacey, who I think scored more points than anyone else at state, she'll be back as a junior. So we've got enough talent. The leadership void, that might take a little bit longer, just because these girls had a lot of experience and there's so many of them.
Looking ahead to boys, like we said in our previous episode, you have sectionals, prelims, then sectionals, and then anyone who advances from sectionals right to state.
Yep.
So what's the preview looking like for sectionals for the boys?
We've got one of the toughest sectionals in the state. They basically put the whole entire south side. Center Grove, Indian Creek's got a really solid squad. Greenwood's up and coming. Whiteland's been pretty good. You got Perry and Southport. You throw in Mooresville. So basically the mid-state conference, throw in Center Grove and Southport, and you've kind of got our little cohort. It's pretty competitive. In terms of what we're expecting, there's some of our younger guys we're expecting to be kind of on top of their game on Thursday night, just so they can punch their ticket into sectional finals. You can think of that almost like a regional. And then on Saturday, our goal is pretty simple: advance as many boys to state as we can, because every boy you advance to state is an opportunity to score points, and our goal is, like every other year, to hang a banner. And so we'll probably need 6 qualifiers in order to get enough ammunition to be able to pull something like that off. But that's kind of our goal for this weekend.
Do you ever just want to hang a banner just because and be like, oh, we reached our goal this year?
Kind of like UCF when they went undefeated.
Yeah. IU when they made it to the Sweet 16, you just say, we got 7th in the state.
Hang it up. I think they're better than that. I think they're better than that.
No, I don't. Those banners are the most special thing. As somebody that, I say this regularly, but as somebody that doesn't have children, I probably have the same look on my face when I walk in the pool and I look up at those happy memories as people when they see their own children. So no, I'm not looking to add to the family unless it's a legitimately worthwhile experience.
Well, it depends. As someone who has a child now, too, I look way different than I did when she was a newborn. So now the look is probably the same as when you see those banners. The look when she was a newborn was probably similar to, let's say, someone slips jumping off the starting block and they're way behind.
So sheer horror.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I'm a guy that likes sleep, so when that day comes, I'm not looking forward to that part.
So have you had a chance, do you ever just kind of reflect on the success that you've had as far as building a program, and I know with Kurt Haas and all that, there was some good building blocks set in place, but what you've been able to accomplish, both boys and girls, have you ever sat down and just reflected on that, or are my words right now jogging that in you, and are we going to see you break down?
No, there won't be any breakdown. No, I've thought about it. Sometimes when you're in the moment, it doesn't feel incredibly special. It just feels like, a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And typically I'm keen on living in the moment, like what do I have to do today and what do I have to do to get better today. But when I do look back on it, it is pretty exciting. There's been so many people that helped me to this point, previous coaches and previous athletes. And so what we have right now is just the 12th rendition, or I guess in my case, it's the 9th rendition of what we've been trying to do. So if you come to any one practice, I would say it looks fairly normal. But like I said, as somebody that's been in the trenches, so to speak, this entire time, it just feels all very normal to me. There's nothing excellent seemingly about it. I get frustrated like every other coach, and I try to coach kids up to the best of my ability like every other coach. So, but yeah, I do occasionally reflect, and mostly just fond memories of people that have come before us, that are no longer here, that have kind of set the tone for what we're currently doing. There's a phrase called standing on the shoulder of giants, and I feel like all the previous people back in 2014 or 2013, they kind of walked this baton a little bit further. In every class, it's their job to see how much farther, how much more sophisticated they can grow the program. So I guess that's kind of my reflection upon it all. But nothing but really pretty fond memories. I don't typically remember things that were negative in the past. My wife thinks that's a flaw, but I will tell you that the past is always rosy.
Now, I think when I've been in your practice before, you said there's nothing magical or anything. You in the pool in a Speedo swimming, beating all the kids and talking trash is not. I feel like that's
Coach
greatness.
DeWitt's pretty disappointed because you obviously are not a very good co-partner if you didn't watch last episode.
I did watch part of it. Yeah.
So.
Because he told me that you got on me.
No,
I know. He said that he hasn't swam in a long time. Yeah. He couldn't get in the pool and swim.
But if you saw him on Twitter would have been last weekend, right? He got in the pool.
And I lost some serious volume in that 30 seconds I was in there. I was doing quite a workout. And I can tell you, everyone can attest that it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. It seemed impressive.
Well, when I coached cross country and track,
yeah,
we would there'd be workouts and stuff, and I would do the regular runs with the kids, but not the workouts. And the kids would say, "Well, why aren't you doing this workout with us?" I said, "Well, I'm not trying to race anybody this weekend."
That's my famous line. But I use it normally for food, like when I see a girl come out with a whole stick full of peanut butter.
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, I've seen you eat the peanut butter." I'm like, "I'm not trying to get in a suit right now."
Yeah.
Well, we saw one dive into the pool last week. Hopefully another dive into the pool coming up soon. And anybody who advances from sectional to state, we wish them luck, and we wish you guys luck and health throughout the last few weeks of the season.
Yeah, it's about 10 days. So like you said, praying for good health and good swims, and the rest will take care of itself.
All right, well, for sectional and fifth place, girls state coach, Zach DeWitt, my partner, Brian Powers. I'm Thomas Crow, and this has been the Hubler Group Coach's Corner.
Hubler is proud to be the official sponsor of Franklin Athletics. Score massive savings on all your favorite brands. Plus, get our 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty included. For all auto needs, just click drivehubler.com. Let's go, Grizzly Cubs!